Hello, and welcome to Overdetermined's Elden Ring lore through. This is episode 13. 13. It has been about a year since I played... Oh my god, look at that. It has been about a year since I played last. Life just sort of happens, you know. But I have been thinking about this series basically every day since I've stopped playing. And am thrilled to be back. There is a wrap-up episode I have been promising for 5 episodes now. Not this episode, but will still come. I have done almost every single boss in Southern Limgrave, so not going through the gatefront, or not going through the storm gate, basically. And not going up here through the third Church of America. Done almost every single boss here except one, and maybe technically 2, and we're going to be technical about it. There's a boss here that I'm going to do this episode. This will be a pretty short episode because it's a pretty short boss. And then a much longer episode for episode 14. I will go here. And then we will do a wrap-up episode exploring the themes, ideas, lore, basically everything of Southern Limgrave. And I'll have to think about the best way to do a clickbait title to that wrap up, like everything to know about Southern Limgrave or something like that. What a view, huh? You can see this is something that they do so well. So you can see the deteriorating bridge leading to an enormous tower that sort of frames and just barely obscures the rest of the game sitting behind it. You can see the mountain jagged in the sort of middle distance. And then in the distance far to the right, you can see a shaded... what's the word I want? It reminds me of Archdragon Peak, how you can kind of see it in Dark Souls 3. Obviously sort of regal, almost heavenly. Maybe not almost heavenly, just flat out heavenly. Something far up above, away from the ability to reach it. Inaccessible to us mere Limgravians. And then, you know, sort of shrines as a beacon of hope. And then in typical From fashion, in the foreground there are relics and ruins and decay. Even from here, Stormvale Castle, a force in its own right, still pocked, is that the word I want? Is that even a word? With holes that mark its own special decay that I am excited to talk about once we get there, because there's nothing else in the game like it, and it's sort of hard to understand what it is. You can also see West Liurnia from here, and a very end-game area underneath the Chapel of Anticipation, where we first spawn in. What a good view. What a good game, huh? What a good game. Now even the sky turns a brilliant orange color as afternoon sets, I assume. I could just look at the scenery genuinely for like hours. But I shan't. Okay, well, let's go down this way. Like I said, you can see the guy up there. Hello. How you doing? I think I've attacked. Oh, I don't actually know if I have. Let's go find out. I think I have. Let's go check this out. I'll just cut it if this is uninteresting. And we'll make our way back to the final boss in Southern Landgrave. Oh, no, we haven't here because this is gone. Yes, I remember this. Good view, though, anyways. Sort of a, like, sign of things to come. Still grand despite its obvious deterioration. I cannot talk today. You can even see a little, well, there is an entrance right there. Just barely. I do love the sorcerer towers that stand not near in the state of decay that everything else is. In sort of stark contrast, sort of a little like a Skyrim thing, right? Where, what is it? Is it Solitude? No, Solitude is the big one. Winterhold? I think it's Winterhold, where the, oh my god, look at that. Where the, Academy or whatever it's called stood strong even though like a huge storm came and swept the rest of the city away, and everyone sort of resents them for it. You get a sort of similar, not quite, but a little bit of the same thing, particularly as we get into Liurnia, or the next major area, the Act 2 of 6 or whatever it is. Oh, hi. I think maybe we haven't talked here yet.
You must not forget though.
Oh, yep.
Those who play a hunger
Okay.
until the flood of the strand is no surprise.
It's no surprise that Trekking Commutant is ruinous. And I'm sort of always, Jesus God, I'm always sort of saying that. Yeah, it's not as good. Still good though. Okay. Well, let's make our way over to here. Oh, there's an item right here. Excuse me. It's coming through. Golden Rune 1. Great. Definitely worth it. Hard ones to play through has now spanned 5 years or whatever it is. It has not been 5 years. It's been 2, kind of. Maybe 3. Depending on how you count. Smithing Stone 1. Genuinely useful. Thank you to these bats. Ooh, a waterfall. Let's see if we can get down there from up there. That's a good view too. Oops. Sure. Oh, that's got it. Yeah. Didn't last for very long. Stay down. Yeah, it's fine. Wait, are we just... Oh, we're just here. Well, this is a lot less exciting than I thought it was, wasn't it? We've largely explored everything in this top part of the map. What day is it? What time is it? Evening. We read that guy. Being threatened by a troll. Who may or may not be throwing pots down at us. You know, have we been here too? Maybe this is all for naught. Nope, we have not, because I just got some Fulgur Bloom for the first time. Uh-oh. Gotta go. Be cool if we struck the, what's his fuck with lightning. You're just not giving up, man, are you? Let's get to relative safety. And then take a look at the Fulgur Bloom, which is the yellow flower that grows in lightning-struck lands, imbued with traces of lightning's essence. So, electricity. The only, I mean, it's not the most interesting item in the whole world, right? But it does, it's the next stanza in a poem. Is that, is that anything? Of, there he is. Of flora that grows according to and with the things that surround it. So if you're in sleep timeville, you'll see some sleep flowers, etc. Not my best job of explaining. So creepy. So Nazgul-esque. Oh shit. This is the... Let me turn the HUD on real quick. Uh-oh. Knight's Cavalry. I've already done a good job at it. Well, never mind. Alright, let's turn that HUD back off, huh? Well, who could have seen that coming? Cavalry of Night. Night is a concept in the Elden Ring universe, much expanded on in the hit sequel, Night Rain. Of a thing of both like destruction and stagnation kind of areas, and yet also healing, kind of. Not quite healing, but rejuvenation. Something that causes an entity to be more of what it is. So a pair of bugs might become huge, or a dragon who is mildly hungry may suddenly become a gaping jaw and nothing else. I wish I could parry this dude. I don't think I can. Pretty sure I can't. Should I try? He fights with a long halberd and a horse. Oh, please don't fall off. That'd be such an anticlimactic ending to this episode. And a horse covered with a, like, cloth or blanket to disguise. It's a little, evocative of something. The scariest thing is what your imagination can imagine, right? So, whatever is underneath there, the cloth serves to make it. The cloth serves to build your imagination up as to what possibly could be down there. For a while, I thought that these fights were better on horseback, and I've sort of grown to not think that. You just kind of... Oh, god damn it. Did not think that would hit me. Kind of got to stay on this side of him. Don't hit me, don't hit me. But he does sure move around a lot and is hard to hit. Oh, we just saw the moon there. Come on, man, let's go to this side so I can see the moon again. There it is. You get the sense of someone who is extrajudicial, right? Hiding under the cover of night, wearing all black. Still sort of regal though. I wonder if those trolls might be a problem. But like that seems like a very expensive suit of armor as compared to like the Grave Warden Duelist or something, right? What's my Ash of War here? Is it Impaling Thrust? Indeed it is. I'm gonna just do that 6 times. And miss every single time. we go. Oh. I don't know why I thought that wouldn't hit me. But the knight, Knight. I've just got that. Knight's Cavalry. I've literally just gotten that. The play on words there. Very good job. I think Frog Nation is the company that does their localizations. God damn it. No idea what my health is at. Nor do I know what his health is at. And that makes this whole thing just that much more engaging. The horse and the knight are separate entities for the purpose of the game. So if you kill the horse, you can critical the knight, and the knight will fall off. And have a whole different moveset. And eventually summon its horse back, like so, out of a really nasty liquid type of thing. We did it. Got Ash of War Repeating Thrust, which I think is the sort of nothing lore-wise. Repeating Thrust. Twist to build power, then unleash a flurry of thrusts. Well, this was maybe the shortest walkthrough part of the lore through that we've ever done. But we like a short episode every now and again. And next episode will be very long. Now we will see what I have to say about the Knights Cavalry. This Knight's Cavalry guy is dripped out, were it not for the ripped cloak that itself may once have been regal and the constant stains of blood. This armor is almost elegant. His armor seems mildly Gothic inspired. Look, for example, at the similarities around the joints. This suit of armor has those Gothic symmetrical intricacies. Underneath all the rust and blood is a definite craftsmanship, which I think lends him a quiet and authoritative confidence. The extremely wide and deep gorget, the armor piece that covers the knight's neck and throat, gives the knight an oddly regal bearing to me. The black plume, wild though it is, also marks this knight as having high status, and yet his cloak is in tatters and his armor drips with blood. His horse, too, has a ghastly appearance, or at least what little we can see of it does. This knight is several ranks above your standard foot soldier, yet he otherwise seems marked by a bleak indifference of his knightly appearance and set on a singular violent purpose. He moves like you may expect a royal executioner to move, without malice, without fear, but with the cold neutral violence of the grim reaper. He carries a slightly regal air, perhaps, but there is nothing noble here. His cloak bears no coat of arms and is otherwise, I would say, conspicuously blank. This is odd, considering this is not the first Knight's Cavalry we will see. This one is part of some kind of collective. But, unlike the Tree Sentinels, the Knight's Cavalry have no defining symbol. They wear no shared insignia of pride. Still, they are clearly organized. They prowl the dim lands between, not like the dumb nobles we see, but instead have some clear shared intention or directive. The way they pause once they see you, as if weighing what you are and whether to bring down the full force of their halberd on you, seems to make them much more intelligent than the average mindless soldier. As an enemy, too, they are much quieter than your standard lands between enemy. A Godric soldier will make a brainless guttural exclamation upon seeing you. The Knight's Cavalry silently approaches you under the cool light of the moon. They might not perfectly have their wits about them, but their sharp movement, armor, and general aesthetic suggest they are more controlled and intentional than the normal residents of the lands between. Their lack of identifying crest or insignia is no mistake, and instead reads to me as the Knight's Cavalry wanting to hide their allegiance or hide who gave them their orders. In that, they are not dissimilar to mercenaries or neutral hired soldiers. Yet, these knights of the Knight's Cavalry are clearly not allegiance-less men. They wear expensive armor, that armor, otherwise expressionless, has one necklace or chain-like ornamentation. They ride with their backs straight and with a grim confidence that much contrasts the half-slouch that we see from the mindless Godric soldier. They are, after all, some form of knight, as the wordplay in the title Knight's Cavalry suggests. So, they have a quiet, grim pride you might expect of the Grim Reaper. They have clearly expensive armor, despite it bearing the marks of considerable violence. They display enough intent and intelligence that we can assume they are not enacting random acts of violence. But the lack of a crest or anything on their armor suggests they either don't want to broadcast where they take their orders from, or they simply don't feel the need to. To me, synthesizing all this evidence makes me think they can only be of the state. At this point in the game, it's not clear which state we'd be talking about, though we can safely assume that the state here is the government of the Erdtree. The Knights Cavalry acts with the state's monopoly on violence, perhaps as a pseudo-sanctioned death squad. Their featureless armor grants them a quasi-anonymity. We can't be 100% confident that these Reapers are sanctioned by the Erdtree government, but who else and what else would they be? Unlike the Tree Sentinel, which proudly wears its association with the Erdtree, the Knights Cavalry enacts the will of the Erdtree while foregoing any association with the Erdtree. I mentioned these have a vague extrajudicial aesthetic in the playthrough. Indeed, the image of the Knights Cavalry hunting the moonlit lands between for presumably tarnished, to me, echoes plain-clothed government agents pulling up in an unmarked van and kidnapping or just simply murdering some supposed enemy of the state. It is a way for the state to enact the violence it wants, without explicitly putting its stamp of approval on the violence and subverting the justice system. And, by extension, justice itself. Feeling unconstrained by the legal system and acting extrajudiciously can lead to a government feeling dangerously empowered. The Knights Cavalry have one defining shared characteristic. They operate under the shadow of night. After all, it's in the name. Night is a time for legality and norms to atrophy away. It's a time for a government to indulge in its own worst and most fascistic instincts. Due process and legal standards fade away with the light of day. Indeed, to the extent the night is lit at all, it seems to be lit by the Erdtree itself. All of that said, my earlier comparison to the Tree Sentinel is instructive in that both types of knights are likely associated with the Erdtree, and both want us tarnished dead. Perhaps they now follow their own internal directives now that Queen Marika is gone and the lands between have fallen into disrepair. But still, all the environmental cues make me think the two orders of knights once had different purposes. Perhaps Tree Sentinels were meant to physically protect the Erdtree, and the Knights Cavalry were meant to hunt down purported traitors to the Erdtree. And by the time that our Tarnished arrives, those two goals are now effectively the same. This suggests that there were other types of traitors to or enemies of the Erdtree that necessitated the Knights Cavalry in the first place. Indeed, where the Tree Sentinel is regal, the Knights Cavalry is bloodstained. Where the Tree Sentinel appears to be one with his horse, the steed of the Knights Cavalry seems completely replaceable. The Tree Sentinel has an air of justness and storyhood? Is that a word? Being of a childhood story for kids in the lands between to look up to and aspire to, whereas the Knights Cavalry is something you warn your kids of to frighten them into behaving. Speaking of being scared, the steed bears a striking resemblance to the Lord of the Rings Nazgul to me, and I think this is a relatively common reaction. While the Nazgul's horses aren't covered at all, the Nazgul themselves share that inhuman blackness under a deep hood. The Nazgul are also a good analog to the picture of the Knights Cavalry that I am painting here. The Nazgul primarily move under cover of night, are associated with a quasi-government, and are charged with hunting and killing those opposed to that quasi-government. The Nazgul analog opens up an additional thread, I think. The existence of the Knights Cavalry implies that there is a dangerous enough singular enemy of the state worth killing. That there is an individual or small group of individuals whose existence threatens the government itself. Perhaps that state is built on shaky ground, and needs to engage in this extrajudicial violence to solidify itself. What, then, is the threat to the government of the Erdtree? Our purpose as a Tarnished, given to us from some mysterious source, is to claim the Elden Ring and become Elden Lord, according to the intro cinematic. Tarnished are clearly a threat enough to those associated with the Erdtree to warrant sending out grim and dangerous knights to hunt us down. It makes you wonder, why? What exactly is so dangerous about us?